Where did I go wrong when I sucked your dick?
I couldn't suck enough dicks. Alright, it's fully recording. I know that. We've got 4 hours on this show. In the bitterness, yeah. Dude, that.
Alone in the bitterness. Yeah. With you all night. And I know. I'm trying to think of other
it's an emotional song.
I'm trying to think of other Kohl's and Target playlist songs.
Fuck.
Is this
Because you had a bad day? Is the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just said it.
Nice. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely another one.
Because you had a bad day.
Everyone knows I'm in over my head. Over my head.
That's a phrase, too.
It took me a second.
All the time. He's on here, man. He's on here, man.
It took me a second to recognize that.
They all kind of sound the same.
Mate.
It's like, are you doing a different song?
I gotta think of one more.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I know. Life is a highway, and I'm gonna ride it all night long. Dude, that is the worst. Something bad is gonna happen if that song is playing and you're in a Walmart or Target or something real fucked is about to go down.
Leviathan is opened up on the ground. If you're back in that time,
the ground just opened a portal to
you
hell.
notice it's like 2007. Like there's a lot of shit on the shelves.
Yeah,
Shit, there's a lot of people in here. What the fuck's going on?
Right.
Time's broken. At that
Are they
point.
opening a Spencer's Gifts?
Yeah.
What is happening?
They're inventing Spencer's over there.
Oh,
dude, and what is it? Something you, my dirty little secret.
Dirty little
Hope that you can keep it.
Yeah.
Who has to know?
Yeah,
That shit.
I think that's one.
Yeah. All American Rejects.
All American Rejects.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And then Fall Out Boy was kind of the crown jewel in the center.
We
of
need a
that era.
documentary on the niggas who made those playlists, like the politics behind it. We structured a $4 million deal with Sony in the year 1995, and that's really when everything kicked off. You know, there's like it's a whole world, and it's just like pot-bellied, middle-aged,
that was the year we
balding
could
white
add your
men.
soul into the 360 deal. It was a big change in the industry.
So our goal with this playlist is what we wanted to do is we wanted to give you the best songs that are about absolutely nothing. They're about the most nothing.
If it's about something, we kind of get into a fit of rage and attack the person suggesting so.
Yeah, and best case scenario, they reinforce a lot of patriarchal, like a cold hard bitch is just a kiss on the lips, and you
like I wonder if like the record labels work directly with Kohl, Sears, like, or if there was like a middleman company that just hijacked the whole process and was just like,
yeah, our formula was really simple. We just went through and looked at the number ones, and the ones that had the safest lyrics, we would just propose them, and that's how it went. We got a commission of about 20% on each.
Well, actually, that's what the top 40 chart was invented for about 50 years ago. So we really all our work was kind of done for us. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for the comment. For the person to show up in the comments who knows all about this. My dad actually did that for 15 years.
My dad was in Sonic shopping industry.
Yeah, my dad was actually best friends with Jet, the guy from Jet.
Yeah, Natasha Bedingfield's gonna be like, yeah, I made $3 million off of the Sears contract.
That song's a fucking banger though.
Yeah, I saw that Bill Hicks bit about pop stars. Is
what is
just
this?
like, or he's just like they're having sex with Satan, like all of them. But it was like the pop stars of like the early '90s.
How was this related?
Well, it was because it was about how commercialized music is.
Okay,
now.
Yeah,
right.
And it's those types of people. I think he says something about them all at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about that bit is the rest is still unwritten.
Yeah.
So
All right. Yeah, I saw that Vice just put out a documentary on the making of that song, like her hit song.
yeah.
One of the greatest documentaries ever is one they did on Thong Song for Sisqó.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna spoil it. Just look up the documentary for the making of Thong Song. It will exceed your expectations in terms of like hilarity. It will exceed it. I'm not even gonna spoil it.
Before you
Okay, let me
up a dirty window.
I'm trying to illuminate the words that you and I find reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste
Wow,
it.
yes.
Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you.
This is going to be a 5-minute long episode because most of it will be copywritten music snipped out of it.
Right.
I feel like that song.
Snipped out of it.
I feel like that song is written specifically for situations like this where someone starts singing it to make fun of it, and then it gets real high and you get embarrassed.
Oh, that's actually like most songs now.
Yeah.
Are just a hook.
I did want to spoil one thing for the making of Thong Song. In the video where he's hovering and he's running over the crowd on the beach, his reference, Sisqó came up with that, first of all.
I do remember that.
And his reference point was Looney Tunes.
That's fire.
He told the directors and everybody involved in this production that I want to run on top of people like Bugs Bunny in this clip.
Wow.
The
Orchestra, also his idea. Like literally all of that shit was Sisqó's idea.
You know it's crazy? You know who took that mantle and ran with it? Tony Jaa. If you ever seen any of his movies, Ong Bak, where he does all these demonstrations, these martial arts demonstrations, where he'll have like 12 dudes standing just like shoulder to shoulder like this, and it's a chase scene, and he'll just like kind of jump over and just like run across their shoulders like that.
That's sick. That's really sick.
Great.
Is that Sharon, by the way, in the shot? You think
Hi, Sharon. Nice to meet you.
the black
I don't believe
chair?
I don't believe so. If it is, it'll be in
This
it
one,
would
you
be
mean?
in the wide, but I don't think it's in there.
Probably just move it just in case.
Oh, these guys' laptop on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like you're like cut out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the fucking beef at the Target video game console line, man, let's get
Bro.
into it.
Oh,
I know somebody
yeah.
has a crazy ass story, like about it started as a passive aggressive, like teenagers like butting against each other to get at the GameCube, and it ended up in someone getting shot in the. I bet you someone has that.
It can't
that
just be
story.
regular beef. Just
No.
somebody
It's the
died.
real-
They
beef.
was arguing over Pikmin, man. They was literally trying to get it. It had just came out.
For
The GameCube
Olimar?
had just came out.
For Olimar, nigga. Somebody says that
You got shot
they say
over Pikmin, nigga.
They say Olimar. Olimar, nigga. For Olimar.
Oh, that shit would be so
Holy
passive
shit.
aggressive. Like I just
Holy
remember like
shit. I don't have like a distinct. I just have a memory of getting neck pains from playing.
you don't
games.
remember the
Yeah.
scramble to get to you. The kids just like doing the speed walk to get
Oh, I
to
remember.
the
I
fucking.
vaguely remember some of that.
Yeah.
And I remember the
My little
Target.
cousin got popped over Super Mario Sunshine.
The Target that I would go to, or that my mom would take us to, it would have the video game section. It'd be like the newest consoles or whatever, and then you'd go further in, and it would be like the PlayStation 1 or whatever that they just
Yeah.
hadn't gotten rid of yet, and it
Yeah.
would have like Tekken on it or whatever, and like no one wanted to get
Right.
bumped down to that.
That's funny.
It's like you're running out of options at a certain
Right.
point.
It's like when they still like had faith in the old consoles, they just had the loose bits and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the old controllers and
I'm
everything.
just like you've opened up a crack in my skull of memories that are flooding in right now. Like I'm thinking of the McDonald's and Nintendo game or Nintendo 64s that were at the McDonald's. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Like it'd be like a play place type thing. There would just be an N64 in the middle. There would be a flat screen. It'd be like Mario Kart or some shit.
what? At McDonald's?
This is true. The people are gonna be on my side. They're gonna be like, "Here's a freaking compilation of all of them." Yeah, they were fire.
Yeah.
N64s.
Damn, I don't.
Just
I
had
don't-
Grimace staring into your soul as
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
playing
Grimace with that
ATV
clockwork
off-road
orange
fury.
claws on his eyes.
Right.
Like, I can't stop playing.
You got the special edition N64 that's half Pikachu and half Grimace.
That literally just sounds like a Travis Scott piece of clothing or something at this point.
Right.
Or a Kid Cudi coat. He would have a coat with Pikachu and Grimace.
Right.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at that point in terms of commercialization and
right.
I choose
IP.
you, Pikachu.
I mean, dog.
I always wanted to do a Pokemon soundtrack song.
Yeah.
You know?
Pikachu, yeah.
He's a yellow little guy.
Yeah.
Little yellow guy.
Just piss off and electrocute you. He's a good guy in the day. He's a good guy. Pikachu's a friendly, loyal Pokemon friend.
And we're all Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
Ash Ketchum, yeah. Mewtwo was a big mean guy till he met Pikachu, yeah.
Charizard.
They're like, hey,
Charizard.
Scott, can you just run through the first 100 Pokemon and just sing it? Just improv, just sing.
Butterfree,
Okay,
yeah.
let's see what I can do.
Metapod, yeah.
Yeah.
Dragonite, Dragonair, yeah.
One of his biggest
Dratini.
Geodude.
One of his biggest freestyle videos is on Tim Westwood, and he's clearly high off coke.
Oh no!
And he does, after he does it, he's like, oh no, they're cycling through the beats, and he's like, that was easy. It's like, can you imagine him coked out freestyling Pokemon, like a Pokemon song? Like, are they still making Pokemon movies?
You know what? I don't know.
That's a great. They're not making the ones we grew up going to see, right?
I'll tell you one thing, they're not making them like they used to.
I'll tell you one
are.
thing. Let me tell you something. This is called being old. You're all out there fiending for these cards, these magic cards. I was there when it fucking started. I got to witness that. You're going to have to witness a lot else. I just got the fucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
I remember when it was the first 100 and everyone was like, damn, they gonna keep making more creatures? Like
150.
And they're like, if you think it took more than 20 seconds to think of each of those, we've got another 9,000 in the tank. We've got 20 years of these. You don't think we had a pitch meeting or two where there was a couple thousand that didn't get...
Dog.
We're done.
There is a fucking Pokemon now that's just keys.
Yeah.
It's keys.
That's
one
funny.
key or a set of keys?
I said keys, dog.
Yeah.
Wow, so as it evolves, it's more and more
it's just,
keys.
like,
You
what's
said
the
keys
average-
plural.
You get
You're right.
closer and
It's more than
closer to
one.
being a janitor. It's like,
Yeah.
like
the first evolves form is just a
Yeah.
ring filled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just becomes a game for people who are dumb as shit. And
Right.
it's like, key guy, who's he good against? And it's like a line of Pokemon, and one of them's just like a keyhole.
Lock.
It's like
yeah.
lock.
Yeah.
Right.
Lock used locking powers. Can Key do anything? And it's like boop 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 boop, and it's like two options.
Right.
That is crazy.
It's
as a
fucking
concept.
insane.
Like
It's-
we can make a Pokemon out of anything.
Right.
Air. There's an air Pokemon. Did you know that? That's Pokemon 1245.
It's invisible.
Right.
Half of them are.
This is
Right.
my
saving money.
This is my cell phone Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right. There's bacteria
This is
Pokemon.
These are unknown Pokemons. They're just the male-female symbol flying around with eyeballs. We didn't have to try that hard, and we made 400 of those.
I wish I could have been in those backroom meetings when they were talking about the logistics and biology of this, like the realism of it. Like someone was just like, well, we can't just keep like, and then the capitalist and then was like, or can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water
Right.
bottle Pokemon, and you can't tell me different.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about my fucking wife Pokemon? How about that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
dude.
so you get
like
fucking-
it's wow, what a time.
They're like,
Man.
that's the trick. That's how we make so much money is we can make a Pokemon out of anything.
Yeah.
That's why they call us Game Freak.
Yeah, you don't want to know what we're called. Just ask Tom Cruise what kind of games we're playing. But freaking, that's
Yeah.
the guy who came up with evolution. The evolution aspect was like, they were like,
Oh, so fucking
We double
geeked.
it up, triple it up,
So
quadruple it up
geeked.
for each one too.
Char Diddle, Char Battle, Charizard,
Yeah.
Did you say Chardiddle?
Chardiddle.
Charl Cheeto, little Chico Char, all right, and then Meg Chuggy Char, all right.
This one's a fucking magnet.
Yeah,
And how about now? It's 3 magnets.
It's like, guys, I got a pitch.
yeah.
We're going microscopic
Right.
with the Pokemon. Mitochondrial Pokemon.
Micro Pikus all over the place, just dangling all over.
Oh my
Dangling like
God.
bells.
Yeah.
The
That-
Italian.
Thinking about that and thinking about like just thinking about the violence of making animals fight each other as like a franchise idea.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
They're like, what do Americans love? Fighting dogs.
Dog fighting.
Yeah, fighting dogs.
I'm like, out of all the
cocks.
things the fundamentalist Christians harped on, it wasn't that. They're like,
Right,
oh, it's magic,
right.
it's demons. They could the whole time, if they
Yeah.
really wanted to get it out of here, they could have been like, this is violent. This
Yeah.
is. We need to be in balance with
Yeah.
non-human nature, not pinning
Right.
animals against each other.
Right.
No. Put gloves on him.
God wanted
Yeah.
harmony.
Yeah,
with
put
nature.
literal gloves on.
Yeah.
And his
Was it
move
Hitmonchan?
is punch the shit out of. That's one of his moves.
Is that Hitmonchan?
Oh man, that's
Hitmonchan?
crazy.
Yeah. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, named after Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee.
They're environmentalists.
I'm still fucked up on Diagon Alley. Also, that's
Oh,
like
wow.
that's why I can never be like a spy decoder. I would.
They're gonna they're gonna be like, yeah. They talked about Harry Potter for like 3 episodes straight. They had
Yeah.
like a three episode HP streak that
Hey,
really.
you think I can't talk about some shit like that for 4,000 hours at minimum? You're insane. Let's go through the movie frame by frame.
right?
I can
Yeah.
fill up
right.
years
Let's go.
of content.
Yeah.
Let's do it. The whole 8 movie series.
Jaded Forum YouTube is now a Harry Potter channel, guys.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter lore.
Yeah.
And
Crinkle Fumble Bottom. What did he do? What murder did he commit at Hogsmeade? Hogsmeade.
Hogsmeade.
Hogsmeat. Like, you know, it's about a
Hogsmeade.
hog's dick.
Crinkle Fumble Bottom.
Bottom is the bet. Like, I knew a kid with the last name Bottom.
Get the fuck
I
out of here.
swear to God. And he was
It was
Italian
just
and he
Bottom?
took his name. He was like, I'm not doing that.
It was just Bottom.
Yeah.
what was his
There
first
wasn't
name? We'll censor it
long,
out.
wasn't
No.
long bottom or something bottom. It was just bottom.
His one of his parents' last names was Bottom. And so he chose to go I think it was
chose
around
that?
middle school, high school. He started going by his bleep that out. I don't even want to say which, because I don't want to dox. You know what I mean? I don't want to meet me by the dox.
Well, as long as we're bleeping, say his first name.
Okay, his name is Bottom.
That's insane.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. That's what
Why do we got to edit that out?
I just don't want to dox.
You don't want the
That's-
first name, but bottom. There's got to be plenty of bottoms in.
I don't know, man. I never came across another
We should
bottom
just
in my
keep-
days.
We should.
In all my days.
Long bottom.
I was gonna say there's English people watching. No, he's fine, bruv. Like family.
Yeah,
No,
bottom.
he's good.
That's I know, like 4 bottoms. 3 tops, 2 bottoms.
3 tops, 2 bottoms.
3 tops, 2 bottoms. That's my
I
gang.
love how you combine Skepta and Gordon
Yeah.
Ramsay,
2 top, 3 bottoms. They came the room. 3 bottom, 2 top. Let's do.
and then you went, okay.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. They're all. Yeah.
It's all the same.
It's all the
Okay,
same.
3 bottoms, 2 bottoms, mate. A suit with Gordon. Okay. 3
Yo.
bottoms, 1 arse.
Speaking of English people, you see the James Corden news today? The
Oh
restaurant.
my God!
Did you-
There's
did
a
you-
hair in my suit.
Yeah.
You fucking
Wait.
piece of shit.
Is that what it?
I'll fucking kill you if you don't take this soup and bring back 40 bottles of champagne. I'll kill you and your family. I was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. I'm making that up. Don't sue me.
Please tell me that's not what
But I
the.
probably was.
Please tell me that's not what the news was.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yes, just
He
him
was at
being
some-
so fucked up and rude and disrespectful towards fucking
Well, and I
service
researched
workers.
it with the
Because of a
clip.
soup.
It was like he found a
Soup.
hair. Multiple times he was like a psycho at this restaurant in New York.
Yes, yeah.
And the
And he's like,
owner
I
is
had
like,
the 80s
James Corden cannot come.
He's like, I had to 86 him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't 86 anybody, but I had to 86 him.
Bro, I want to see an episode of What Would You Do that's just James Corden being himself.
Right.
It would be
What
him
would
having
you-
a panic attack.
Right.
Fucking
Because he doesn't know who he is.
right.
Yeah.
Just John Quixote.
Everybody,
I feel
the void in my soul with the TV
Yeah. He's like,
you know who I am?
I am one of the fattest, most famous people.
I can only speak at this volume.
Yeah.
And then
Reggie
John,
Watts.
and then John Quinones comes out like, why did you react in that situation?
Him chewing out Reggie Watts. You're a nobody. You make ping butt sort noises with your fucking mouth.
I drove in a car with just 10 people.
Yeah, you could go to any improv club in LA and find someone that does what you do. You fucking
You write songs and you don't remember your own lyrics.
Yeah.
We got to call this the Ellen effect. Like someone who has the most pure, like family-friendly image on the front end, but then on the back end, they're just demonic.
Yeah.
They're all, let me tell you, I think the only one that maybe went unscathed was Conan. And the other guy who's like from Scotland or whatever. Craig Ferguson.
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah, those two guys, they're the only ones that I can believe are not crazy.
Yeah.
All of them, it's up for grabs.
Yeah.
They all seem crazy to me.
I have enough friends that know Conan that I get I've never heard anything bad about him. You know, I feel like that Jay Leno shit probably fucked him up. Probably took him down a peg.
Yeah. But he crushed for a long time after that.
I mean, yeah.
He was the guy for a grip.
Yeah, but I think just having shit pulled out from the rug pulled out from under you, it's probably, put some perspective. And then, dog, when he went on fucking Letterman, he was like, yeah, I didn't want anybody to blame Conan for this situation. I think everybody should know that, Conan had nothing to do with it. And Letterman's like, not a single person is fucking blaming Conan, you fucking dickhead.
Right.
This is reminding me of the Bobcat clip on Arsenio.
Yeah. Shout out Bobcat Goldthwait, man.
Yeah. When Paramount gutted his show and he fucking just trashed
Arsenio.
Arsenio said in protest.
That's rad.
And then just like as he's being carried off, just slips in that, oh, by the way, Jerry Seinfeld fucks teenagers.
Yeah, and he's like, Michael Jackson totally did it. And then the crowd is like, starts going crazy.
It's like hype.
Yeah. Now the crowd laughed when he said that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's true. Most people were not defending him throughout that.
Yeah. But it was just the media
90s,
being like, it was the media being like, who's Jerry's new flame? And it's just a 17-year-old. Just a whole
Who's 38-year-old Gerald Seinfeld's new flame?
Right.
Jerome, I guess.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There's a stand-up show they do.
They ring the bell, you leave class, you come to me. What's the difference?
There's a great stand-up clip because they do a stand-up show every Halloween that's like comics dressing up as other comics. And this guy did a set as Seinfeld. And the whole set
hysterical.
is just, what's the deal with girlfriends? They're always talking about homework.
Right.
Yeah. It's just so good.
shit.
Jerry Seinfeld looks like he picks his nose in public. Like he has crazy boogers. And he'll just be like... especially now that he's rich, like he won't even care if people are looking. He'll just like stare off and just pick his nose.
Do you want this?
I'd buy that. Like
Right?
as a power
Doesn't he
move.
look like
as
that?
a power move.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like, hey, do you want this?
Right.
And someone points it out, and he's like, "Oh, we all have them."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we all have booger.
Yeah.
You want me to just
Not even close.
Yeah.
Like Terrence and Phillip type shit.
Yeah. He's like, you keep it in your nose then.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want it?
Get
Right.
the fuck away from me.
Right.
I'm Jerry.
I'm just supposed to keep a booger just because you're looking?
Yeah.
You ever seen the pictures of him posing with the IDF?
No.
Let me-
What the fuck?
Let me pull that shit up.
I always think about how Draymond Green poses with the IDF.
Really?
He did. Yeah, there's mad pictures of him. There's a picture of him just giving the thumbs up with a 50 cal. He's like aiming a 50 cal.
Bro. It's sad that people.
Oh man. Oh, this image is too good. This shit I'm about to
I
pull
love
up.
the IDF. I love Israel.
Oh, the IDF.
Hold on.
I love Superman and Frosted Flakes and the IDF.
We just want a home for the Jewish
Oh
people.
my god. Oh my
Oh
god,
my
dude.
God, man.
Say it again.
I love the IDF.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Aren't they great?
Right.
Can I get a picture?
We just
Him falling off a cliff. I love the IDF.
I'm nutting over the IDF.
we just want a home for the Jewish people.
Yeah. Just a nation state.
The IDF makes me
How do
come.
you use this thing? Look at him.
Yeah.
How do
Oh
you
my
use
God.
this?
Guys,
it makes me come.
Yeah.
They were throwing rocks.
Big check with the IDF.
I got shocks on.
Guys, they were throwing rocks.
Yeah.
What are they supposed to do?
We have a right to defend the border.
What's this called?
And the ruling class government.
Yeah. What's this called? The Pebble Defender 500? Is that the name of this?
It's a two-sided conflict. It's a two-sided conflict.
Yeah.
You know, I had to put on the blue kicks for the Israel photo shoot.
You know, I had
to bring the Crip trip for the Israel photo shoot.
cuff jeans.
I'm gonna call my next special Blue Gangster.
Blue Gangster should be the national anthem of Israel, state of Israel.
Of Israel.
This was the worst Jerry Seinfeld impressions I've ever heard. Not even
It's
close.
just like a squeaky wheel for 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's a squeaky, like wheel going down the road.
So I was in Israel. It was just me and my lokes. You know, we were cruising down Poppy Street.
The child
We
had to
just
fight
saw a
against
bunch of Palestinian custers. And we let off on them.
custard.
We saw a couple of custers cruising down Pistol Poppin' Poppy Street.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right.
Wow.
So now are we going to talk about the state of Israel? We're going to talk about Zionism and...
Yeah, I'm so Northy, my lokes go viral for me.
Jerry Zionism field.
Well, here's my thing, right?
Right.
Look,
Tell me what you think about Israel.
well, because it's like... I don't even know where to start the conversation.
We just want to have fun. We don't
The
wanna
thing
fuck-
I feel-
The car has flipped over doing the right
Right.
turn over to this topic.
Right.
The car has flipped over.
I'm trying to sustain the bit to ease us into it.
The
I
thing...
keep a blue flag hanging out my backside. Obviously on the left side. That's the grip side. That's the grip
Yeah.
side.
I keep the Palestinian flag on the left side.
I feel the instinct to just say, like, obviously when you critique the state of Israel,
No, true.
a lot of people just go right to you're anti-Semitic. And my whole thing is...
And these are sensitive times.
right. And it's like, well, what if you're against all states and settler colonial projects and powers? That's the terms on which we're critiquing it.
And I think the Kanye shit is a good avenue into
Yeah.
this because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
using... I watched like a half of the fucking Drink Champ shit this morning.
You're a hero.
And he's
wow.
I can't do the whole thing. But he's like he's equating Zionists with the Jewish
people in general, right?
which there are non-Jewish Zionists and there are Jewish people who are not Zionists. So that can dead that whole
right.
that whole thing.
A lot
right
of
there.
fundamentalist Christians, funnily enough, are and have been
Yup.
Zionists, which is one of the biggest contradictions of the whole
Is it though?
spiel.
Is it though?
Because they're
When you-
supposed to be in Zion
it's not-
and,
well,
during the
No, I'm
Revelation
saying
or whatever. Evangelical.
for what Kanye is saying.
Well, for what he's saying, yes, but then for the long
Right.
term, like fascist international shit, where all of these fascist contingencies are either pro-Zionist or pro-African separatism, like they were pro
Right.
like the
Right.
the Garveyist movement and all this shit. Like they all have a vested interest in just getting rid of each other. You know, so you have like Black Hammer fucking pairing up with Proud Boys and fucking fundamentalist Christians pairing up with Zionists. The Nation of Islam was fucking with the Klan and all this shit. Like they all have interest in just getting out of each other's faces. So it is contradictory in the sense that all of this shit is contradictory, but in terms of like their stated principles, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, just like Kanye, you know, being on a fundamentalist Christian bent, which he is,
Yeah.
and then he's kind of grabbing onto like Farrakhan-esque anti-Semitism at the same time. So like this
Yeah.
thing of like, oh, he's probably imagining Ashkenazi Jews or like white Jews, and then he's just using that whole angle to push something that's just anti-Semitic in general.
Right. Right.
But it's like, yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a mess in terms of rhetoric and like espoused ideology, and it's like harmful, obviously, and dangerous. And like that's the thing I wanted to say is like a lot of people who are anti-Zionist, like, can maybe act like I don't even know how to phrase it, like act as if anti-Semitism doesn't exist,
Right.
at the same time, right?
Right.
Like, and I think that's tied to like geopolitics,
Yeah.
different nation state interests in different regions, and then how people weaponize religion, like, you know, faith-based systems and all these different things against each other. But
Yeah, there's multiple
Yeah.
ways into anti-Semitism.
right.
Yeah.
There, throughout history, people have found so many different ways to.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
Right.
There's so many different plays.
Right.
Yeah, jazz music.
Yeah, but it's also like the real informative and insightful shit to me on this conversation is also in thinking about and recognizing, and I'm not Jewish, so I'm not an expert by any means on any of this, but recognizing the social hierarchies and even racial hierarchies and class hierarchies within the global Jewish community, you know, and like recognizing that there's like a legacy of, you know, Jewish groups and organizations and individuals who were anti-state and anti-state of Israel as a whole, and felt like Jewish people could have a homeland, if you will, without displacing other people or without, you know, reinforcing oppressive colonial structures, you know?
Israel as that plot of land wasn't even like the original like goal for the state of Israel. It was I don't remember what the other options were, but they had a couple of possibilities that they were floating around. It wasn't even like initially on the basis of like, this is our ancestral homeland. It was just like, we need a plot of land.
Yeah,
that's what it
we
was.
We need to protect ourselves.
And over time, it developed into, I forget who actually solidified that as the message, but like that became like, okay, this
Theodore
is the easiest
Herzl?
sell.
Is that it?
Theodore Herzl was the
For
You're thinking-
Zionism?
was who
Yeah,
started the
thinking of-
movement. I don't
That's
remember.
the founder of the
I don't remember if he actually made that decision though.
movement or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who in
yeah.
particular you're.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of fucking discrepancies with like Netanyahu's father has tried to insert himself into the beginnings of the movement, and a lot of people would argue that he just was entirely inconsequential. But like now, that's a good narrative, I guess. Because,
Right.
but so I don't remember who actually made that call. It was probably Theodore Herzl, I think. But but yeah, they just had a bunch of options, and it became like, this is the easiest sell for the international community, because they had to have endorsement from the international community, which I think initially was, I don't remember if it was France and then Britain or the other way around. I think it was France first. Yeah, with the League of Nations. So
USSR also is supporting the
yeah,
state of Israel and its development at a certain point in time. The thing that irritates me, another thing that irritates me, I guess, in the conversations around, you know, quote unquote Israel, Palestine, is obviously the discourse still being stuck in the false dichotomy of one state versus two state. And also people who are they're rightfully critiquing the state of Israel, but yet they still see states and governments as legitimate in other contexts, you know? So I think it's in that area where you start to see like anti-Semitic shit like slipping in, because there's almost like for them there's a double standard. It's like you're not actually like you don't have a structural critique that is consistent across the board. You're kind of applying it selectively to this particular situation. And a lot of the people who do that with big profiles, they're getting paid by Qatar, they're getting paid by Russian state, they're getting, you know, they have financial interests in like doing this and like taking this angle.
I think it's also like so interesting because about states is because Israel kind of represents the coercive nature of states in its purest form. Like it's a hyper state. It's using the coercive force all the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a idea. It's a glimpse into what we have coming is just a constant state of force.
Yeah.
Constantly being applied.
I would argue that is.
I mean, yeah, it's already
that's the entire history of the United States of America and Europe and whatever. I think they're just relatively young. It's a relatively young project compared to the other ones.
It's a smaller scale.
Right, smaller scale. So everything it's like we're watching what happened here and in other places hundreds of years ago. We're watching it happen in real time at a smaller scale.
It's also like it's like close quarters combat, I would describe it. Like it's really intimate war taking place at all times. Whereas here it's more like it's in communities and it's in the police force and
it's also like an offshoot of our own shit because they are, funded by U.S. Just like and
we're trained by them.
Yeah, our police force.
Yeah. Who's we? Who is our? God, I'm gonna keep doing it too.
This country is trained by them. And their military. And
this nation's police force.
I've known sales guys that know like Krav Maga because they're like, if you're like a big business guy, eventually that shit bleeds into,
yeah,
because there's like there's like a whole cottage industry of like, oh, we're in the IDF and here's how you'll hit your quota.
I mean, dog, this goes back to what I was talking about last episode about martial arts movie fucking just nationalistically selling everybody's fucking. Huge. I rewatched the one. I watched a bunch of Tony Jaa movies. I got their styles. Man,
I need to.
I do want to bounce back to the one state, two state thing because some people might hear me say, "Oh, one state, two state is a false." You're saying it's a false dichotomy. What would the other option be? And no states, but what that looks like structurally or in an organizational sense is like, like a confederation, of different regions or whatever it might be, and everyone can pass through and go wherever they need to go.
How humans usually settle naturally.
Yeah.
Which is just in communities, in peaceful harmony with each other.
Right.
It's a crazy.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna speak on like the likelihood of XYZ happening because I feel like that's, whatever.
Sure.
But just purely having an imagination conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, these aren't the only options that we have, just objectively speaking.
Yeah. And just the amount of time it took for people to even become like comfortable with the idea that of Israel as a state was like, what, for the fucking 70s that became a thing that people are like, and then I guess the 90s with the Clintons and the PLO and all this stuff just was the first time it was actually like officially acknowledged by, at least by Palestine as a state. Like that's the first time they conceded that it ever, I think it was, I don't remember what, I obviously read a lot about this very recently. And so I'm like trying to make sure I've internalized anything. And if I've gotten any details wrong or like off, but I think it was like 93, they were like, they were negotiating with the PLO. And that's when like the two-state thing became a thing. And it was like tacitly implying that Israel was a state at all. And it was just like some contractual like bullshit basically that forced Palestine into that position. I don't remember where I jumped off from, so I don't know how to end this statement. But
about the states.
I'll also say like, I have Palestinian friends who, deeply aligned with in terms of values and perspectives, views on the world and society and whatnot. And the thing there, and some of them who even have had family, in the PLO and whatever. And the thing they always tell me about is just like how in the hierarchical structure of these counter efforts, and I feel like I can relate to it as a black person in the U.S. with the positions and views I have. It's like looking at the Black Panther Party or a lot of just efforts against empire and states and all of these different things, but reproducing.
Right.
You're pushing like a counter effort, reproducing the social logic that is serves as the foundation for what it is you're actually fighting against.
Yeah.
But you're just doing it in a different name and for a different whatever the agenda or program might be. And Palestinian friends have told me about the corruption, the whatever. And it all just comes down to like it all just shifts my focus personally back to hierarchy and like this through line of authoritarianism. It's like, if your shit is top down any which way, it's kind of doomed to fail.
Yeah, right.
I think that's why like reactionaries don't take a lot of counter things seriously, because they can just see you're doing the same shit we do.
We do, but just for a different
hypocrite.
thing. Right. Yeah, exactly.
So until there's like a tangible difference at its core, they're not going to be scared or take it seriously.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, like even the PLOs, like there was this dichotomy with them and I think the PLF, is that right? That where one of them gets labeled as a terrorist organization and the other one basically gets absorbed into the neoliberal order, and you got Arafat like collaborating with Clinton and all this stuff. Well, I don't want to say collaborating, but like attempting to negotiate. And one of them is semen. One side of the movement.
One is what? Semen? I'm sorry.
One is.
I thought I heard that.
Your mind is in the gutter, Con.
One is semen as legitimate, and the other one is semen as a terrorist organization. But
you see the same dynamic in Kurdish diaspora, and, Kurdish struggle, black struggle. You see it all across the board.
Exactly. It's easy to legitimize the shit that doesn't threaten you, and then just completely render the whole movement moot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something profound. That's why. That's semen.
That's why.
I
think of come before men at sea when I hear semen.
That's why it's time to see these three men turn our attention to the Kurdish movement in Syria.
I thought you were about to be like,
in
see
Iran.
these three men
And Iran.
Let's talk about what's going on in Iran. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was about to. I was laughing because I thought you were like, let's see these three men turn our attention to digital Zion. I thought that's what you were going to do.
Don't do the drop now.
Don't
do it now.
Hold on.
No.
Hold your horses.
Do it right now. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Platforms like YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, they're all ass. They don't respect your privacy, they're riddled with ads, and they're completely silent and unreachable when you need help. Have you ever talked to somebody at YouTube? Think about that. I sure haven't. To top it all off, we don't control them at all, despite being the reason they exist.
So that's why we're partnering with a design and development agency called Sanctuary Computer to build our own cooperative alternatives that bring the best features of all those platforms together and that we can control together too.
We seriously got to have an exodus to some sort of digital Zion that we build ourselves. Somewhere where all of us can actually have a say over the technology that we're using to communicate with each other. For more on how you can support us all in getting off these shitty platforms, visit opencollective.com/digital Zion and tap in.
Just because these dystopian systems are eating themselves alive
doesn't mean they gotta take us with them.
And we're back. No,
No,
I'm just kidding. Not yet.
No, it's too much of a pause. He had to have dropped it.
he did
by
it.
now.
It happened. It happened.
I can tell it, folks, at any moment, so I can do.
Folks watching like that seems early as fuck for a promo.
But yes, Iran.
Yeah.
Have y'all been keeping up with what's going on in Iran?
No.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So this girl, Jina Amini.
Yes.
Initially, the news called
Kurdish.
her Mahsa Amini. She is a Kurdish girl whose
Yes.
Kurdish name is Jina.
Yes.
Mahsa was the like news approved name, basically in Iranian. Was killed by the morality police for just wearing her hijab incorrectly. And so now there is a massive movement in Iran that is led
Revolt.
by
Yeah.
a revolt in Iran. It's
Yeah.
led by girls and women. Basically, just like I don't know all the details of like what they're actually doing and how they're like.
Well, it's
fighting
never
back,
that,
but-
is it?
Yeah,
It's always spontaneous, and
It's-
there's always
yeah,
a million and
exactly.
one different interests, and
Right.
it's chaos. But you
Yeah.
know what the tone is? The tone is the regime. This regime needs to be overthrown.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's important, like underscoring that it was a Kurdish woman
yeah,
specifically because, you know, in the global Kurdish community, obviously not a monolith politically, Kurdish people, just like any other people.
yeah.
But there is a sizable, you know, Kurdish revolutionary movement and effort tied to what's been going on in the autonomous administration of Northeast Syria.
Yeah.
And Kurdish people are also like, they're displaced people caught within, you know, the confines of these nation state partitions, colonial partitions and borders. And I think it's just really, yeah, in the context of Iran, it's like, yeah, it's super important to underscore that and make that connection, because I'm not as up to date as I should be about what's going on day by day. I'm just getting the updates of like people in revolt.
As of yesterday, I saw that a major prison was on fire. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the prison, and I don't.
Well, they burned a bunch of the Iranian state. I know they burned countless revolutionaries. They burned them in a I don't know if it was a prison or a facility or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm.
That's probably what you're thinking of.
Referring to, yeah.
But yeah, people are.
It's very Googleable. I can just search.
Yeah, people are tired and they're done, and the tone that I'm getting is, you know, like done with the regime. But this is where the anti-state critique and even imagination is really important, and that's also the direct connection to this woman being Kurdish, because the
Evian prison.
yeah
Which I don't know the pronunciation, but
yeah, the connection is important, because I don't know what this woman who was murdered, I don't know what her political views were, and I don't know what she did and didn't support.
Well, she was just visiting with family. I don't know if it was. I mean, she was super young. I want to say like 20,
early 20s. Yeah,
at the oldest.
But
and her brother was even like before they came was debating whether or not she should come. All these things, and just like
I was just gonna say though, I don't know what her specific views were or are, but I do feel like there are a lot of interests beyond even the Iranian government that do not want her being Kurdish to even be mentioned or brought up, because of this connection that I'm making around an anti-state imagination, because the Kurdish revolutionaries that, you know, I fuck with and support, you know, they're building on radically democratic projects that transcend the nation state model. And yeah, and in terms of Iran, that's in terms of here, that's the shit that we got to start looking at. I feel like that's the stuff that we got to start thinking about. And I would hope that whatever comes out of the struggle and the space that's opened up in Iran is not limited to the state, that something can, and I know that there are people with these values and these ideas and these politics in Iran in revolt right now. But you know, who knows what kind of, I'm really just thinking about the imagination piece, because you can only hope that in these moments where there's these ruptures, as I call them, people have the imagination to think beyond, oh, let's just get better people in. This regime was so horrible and repressive. Now let's just get better people in, and they'll change the state. It's like, how do you conceive of like a move to a state?
And
I'm not an idealist, right? Like I'm realistic. I know, like it doesn't matter. You know, it's spontaneous. You can't plan it.
Right.
But who's to say if like collectively, if there was like a global movement, you know, with this, they just start the baseline there. What could come out of that?
Right.
You know.
And regarding the imagination tip and the Israel tip, it's like when you have a state that's positioned by all these outside powers and narratives as the only democracy in the Middle East, allegedly, because of these connections to America, then you have that limiting.
Talking about Israel.
Israel, yeah. Then you have that limiting effect, and not to disregard their active suppression of any type of like movements, like whether it's in Palestine or in Lebanon or all these other places, but like you have that, just that confounding factor of, well, people look at this place like it actually represents that, when it represents like an even more bastardized version of the democracy that we have here, which like even fucking people like Steven Crowder admit is not a democracy for for reasons that are not the same as ours.
God.
But like,
Reminds me of the Tucker Carlson clip I saw today that was like fucking crazy. He was like, I am an elitist. I believe I'm an elitist in the sense that, you know, the hierarchy. He literally says hierarchy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that we're all saying the quiet parts out loud in this era right now.
Right.
Just say it. Just come out
He's
with
like, my
it.
dogs have hierarchy. Animals have hierarchy. Someone's in charge. And it's like, someone's in charge?
have you seen?
No, that's not
have you seen
that's
Alpha
not
Dog?
what that means.
Have you seen Alpha Dog? Justin Timberlake in Alpha Dog? Have you seen the scene where he smokes weed and then takes a couple of seconds and he says, "Smoking weed"? Have you seen that?
But on
Justin Timberlake.
On the struggle for those who aren't familiar, the framework you might want to Google is called democratic confederalism. You know, to have, and it's not just Kurdish revolutionaries that are fighting for this. It's people, you know, of other backgrounds fighting together. It's obviously a Kurdish-led effort, but to have something like that blossom or be successful in this region with all of this stuff going around is obviously a major threat, not just to the Iranian government or the state of Israel or Turkey or Qatar or Saudi Arabia. It's a threat to the United States of America. It's a threat to the quote unquote Western world. Rather, not the I'll say it's a threat to the ruling classes of these places and the governments and the nation states of these places, not to the poor and working class people in these places. You know, and the thing that my mind has just been at, this shit is crumbling whether whoever wants it to or not. This is like, literally, if you're right wing, left wing, whatever the fuck that means, that's basically meaningless. But no matter where you are in the quote unquote political compass, everybody, I feel like there's a consensus that, oh yeah, this shit is falling apart. There are going to be vacuums, power vacuums. So it's just a question of what is going to come out of that. What is going to shape out of that? And what are we fighting for? You know, where's our imagination given that?
Right.
That's the kind of macro through line I see with all of these conflicts, you know?
And I do think like the reactionary people are just, I think also there's just more reactionary people than people think. I think I think people don't realize
some people want to believe.
I don't think people realize how especially I have a shitty lens in it through the For You page on TikTok, like just seeing how young men like think right now. It doesn't give me hope, like in general,
right?
For the future, but it is like, I don't know. It just feels like reactionary people are more comfortable just being openly that now. Like I think that, like how we mentioned last time, that Kanye has always been that, you know, like it's like the lightest, like the whole anti-cancel culture thing, that was like the lightest shove back on years of crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that has basically opened a whole door to be like, oh, okay, yeah, now we're saying the quiet part out loud. Now we're just outright going to do it. And I think it's that immediacy from, climate and the collapse of all this shit. It's like it's becoming a cooler idea. Like people are more open to it.
Yeah.
It seems like there's no point to anything.
Yeah, and it's the wildest part to me is that it's all on the basis of a bunch of people were kind of annoying.
Yeah.
That's why the world is descending into fascism right now. Is because some actors really were really annoying for a while.
And I think
in response to people being rapists and abusers in all types of other ways, and I think a big problem that legitimizes that is that there was all these pushes to for action in a top-down fashion that's supposed to be either liberal or left liberal or whatever the fuck they wanted to identify as. Yeah. But it's like you're the CEO of Fox or Disney. You need to fire this guy for being a bad guy.
Right.
It's just we've stopped handling things ourselves, and now we're all trying to hand shit off to some higher power that we think is supposed to handle shit for us, and that's why people have this perception that leftists are abusing their power, whether it's in the Me Too movement or in terms of trans people just wanting respect.
Yes. There's supposed to be there's a professional class of revolutionaries that are going to organize the masses, or revolutionaries, whatever you want to call them, people that are supposed to organize everybody else and handle things. I think this is also connected to our infatuation with just the individual in general and lifestylist stuff, and conflating that with ideas of change or whatever. It's we're having conversations about what individual people have done that's fucked up, and
it forms a new logic in your head. It's how do you improve your life? Well, it's about your choices and what you buy and all these things. Because that's just it's one of the most satanic things. Just PR, the invention.
That's what
of
I was
PR.
saying.
Yeah.
It's related to what I was saying before we hit record too. We're being in this era where everyone is now a PR agent. Everybody is concerned with the optics.
Right.
Everyone's more concerned with the form than the content of anything.
Right.
Including themselves, to the point where they're aspiring to look and appear a certain way that isn't even them. They're aspiring to have relationships with people that aren't actually in sync with them, that they're not even compatible with, but because they need to present something in this digital space or whatever it might be, whatever their motivations might be. But it's if you get millions, billions of people running on that hamster wheel, people's eyes are going to glaze over when you start talking about structural and systemic things, or even organizational things, governance things, decision-making things. It's well, we're still waiting on a daddy to come through. Meanwhile, I'm going to look in the mirror of Aracid and jack off.
Right. I'm going to go.
That's the toughest metaphor she ever created. Was that.
J.K. Rowling. Let me read the...
JKR, man.
Let me
Joker,
read that for people.
Joker, JKR.
I was
really did something
Harry
with that.
Potter's about how we live in a fucked up society. Muggles
are the real monsters. This shit is hard,
Why do you
though.
care so much about magic?
Mirror of Aracid. The Mirror of Aracid is an ancient, ornate mirror. It has clawed feet and a gold frame inscribed with the phrase Aracid. I'm not going to read that. The mirror shows the mirror shows
it's
the most
fucking backwards. It's just written backwards. It says "fuck you, fucking asshole." It's I show. Wait,
desire. Aracid is desire backwards, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
That's so. I'm sorry.
But the sentence.
Gotta love the creativity.
The sentence backwards. What does it say? I show no.
Let me just read the. The mirror shows. I wasn't trying to do it. I wasn't.
I show not your man. Fuck. It's written backwards.
Face. I show not your face, but your
heart's desire is the
desire.
last phrase.
Man, fuck you.
The mirror shows the most desperate desire of a person's heart. a vision that has been known to drive men mad. But it's like the idea of like you can you're staring.
Oh wait,
into the.
Man, I was enjoying downloading that information. I'm sorry. No.
Y'all derailed my whole flow. I'm sorry, bro.
I didn't want to make
the mirror of Erised is a good analogy for what we're going through right now.
Just you're staring in your phone and you're like, how do I look to these people when you're standing in a burning house? The house is burning down around you and you're fucking staring in the mirror, looking at yourself. And it's like, but also looking at other people. It's like the house is fucking burning down around you.
Right.
You know, well, what are we going to do?
Right.
What are we going to do? You look great. You're passing with flying colors. What are we going to fucking do?
What we're going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to tweet at the fire department.
Fix this.
Hey,
I want my Happy Meal.
At NYPD, this is ridiculous. I've done that many times.
You don't see my house?
I want my systems changed now.
Yeah. Wow.
Man.
Bernie, I want it now.
Not you, not systems changing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Embarrassing.
I feel so bad for Nori, man. I don't know why. He just like I feel like he's just a dumb. I don't want to call him dumb because I don't think he is, but like his show is not premised on being smart. It's not premised on like pushing back and having a fucking thoughtful interview. It's you getting fucked up.
He's very behind
on the show. Yeah,
he'll never get there.
Yeah, I'm just like. I guess what I mean is like, what are you doing even expecting that show to?
If you're in 2022 and you're like, yeah, YouTube money, baby, I got Kanye on this episode, it's like, you don't understand those servers are going to be underwater. Like, soon. You won't have.
Like,
I had the thought just earlier today. I was like, wow, if we, like, I don't know what to call it because I know it's not society as a whole, but like, you know, a sizable part of society, especially millennials and Zoomers, younger people, if we had the same infatuation and obsession with individuals and celebrities and celebrity culture that we, like, if we had that same obsession about the structural and the systemic, imagine where we would already be. Imagine what we would already be figuring out. And that's why my mind is like, God damn, if we can at least open up the channels and the space for the people that are nerds about that shit and do want to figure it out and are willing to try some stuff, then we've done something. But like it's just gotta be something other than this cyclical, like even just like the puritanical elements of it, of like we're spending our days going miserable, by the way, and we're going on Twitter and it's like an outlet for how miserable we are, and we can just talk shit and let out all of this stuff and judgment on individual people. It's like nothing changes. Your life doesn't change. The platforms you're using don't change. Nothing changes for the better, at least. Nothing frees you, you know?
I feel like it's so much like, I don't know how to phrase this really, but it feels like the problem with what you're talking about, if we were all obsessed with systems change, that's an inherently inward thing. It's like I am part of that. I don't like to be part of the thing we're talking about. Whereas like, if it's all outward and it's the individual, even though it's supposed to be about you, it's actually removing you from like everything else
situation
around you. Whereas what you're talking about is that would be a collective obsession with how we relate to each other, how we treat each other.
Oh, we're gonna get free. Oh shit, we're gonna get free. It's like this is a bad, horrible analogy, but it's like a group of people being like, oh, we're gonna hit a lick on this fucking thing. We all have an interest in fucking getting some shit out of this. You know?
It's just scary because there is that element. I mean, and like we've seen it with each other. It's like just being seen by the people around you is so fucking scary, especially now in a time where nobody's seen by anybody. You know,
and you're not even supposed to be vulnerable anymore because it's cringe.
Because it's cringe and fucking and lame or whatever. Sincere. It's like. Oh, man. We're the most removed from our interpersonal shit than we've ever been, and now we gotta just jolt back into just feeling like, are you guys good? Are you guys? Is everybody okay? Like it's the scariest shit.
Oh yeah,
man.
it's like burnt the ends off of us, kind of. It's like we're all kind of like
you know, and it's like, you know what? I feel like I want to turn to and I promise this.
Are you changing subjects?
I think staying within subject, but like
okay,
because I just
wanted to.
say what you want to say, and then
I wanted to bring related, but it's like, have you ever met someone that like you can tell that they wanna feel so. And this is a dumb question. Of course, we all know these people. They want to feel so bad. They want to be vulnerable so bad, but they're so committed to like maintain
the bit.
Yeah, like well, my I've run into this a lot because y'all know me. I mean, I dress in all black. Like I look like a dark. You know, I give this impression of people are like, oh, you're so like
light skinned blade,
mysterious. they'll say you're. I don't think I am, but they'll be like,
they say
you're mysterious or whatever. And then, but I'll attract people that they've made that their identity, but but they're forcing it. It's like you're not that,
right?
You're literally. It's like I don't know if you've watched too many movies or something, or like you're trying to like live as this fucking mysterious dark archetype, and then now when I'm having a conversation with you, I'm getting met with the ego that is protecting this fucking idea of yourself that you're so committed to maintaining,
my God.
And so now we're having an awkward argument or an awkward back and forth that you don't really want to have, but it's like why are you so committed to that? Why are you so committed to that? And like, what are the implications of that? It's like, you're not going to be able, to your point, you're not going to be able to come and cooperate with people or whatever and fully like build the trust. It's the trust that undergirds the cooperation around labor and land and whatever. You're not going to be able to fully get there if you're living your life trying to live to an image or live to a whatever.
That reminds me of a few years ago. I think maybe I mentioned this like way like weeks and weeks ago on an episode, but years ago I was on a Greyhound trip from Atlanta to LA. The two dudes in each wearing long black trench coats, tension the whole bus ride, just you know, they just like will they won't they shit. Then when we get to a rest stop, folks are taking a smoke break, the one dude comes up to the other one, goes he just goes, nice trench, bro. And then the other one, and then the little guy, the little one goes, he takes a drag of his cigarette and just goes, and then he just walks away.
That's the real trench coat guy.
That's the real trench coat. That's the one.
The other guy's like, gotta address the trench coat thing.
So you're not really about this shit, man. Come on, dog.
Yeah, dude. I think that plus mixed in with internet persona is a pretty lethal combo. Because it just adds a whole nother layer to it.
I'm gonna look into the camera. You are human. Sorry, there's primal elements of you that we all share, and you can try and mask and hide them.
We see
as much as you want. Yeah, but I see you. Yeah, I mean that's
just
how
the code.
And the shit, the tie-in with what we were talking about earlier is that this shit only becomes more and more evident when the shit collapses, when states start to collapse, systems start to collapse, and now you got to worry about your baseline survival. You're just like everybody else. You're on the same ship. You're in the same burning house.
Shit.
You think you right now there's just enough comfort that you can keep up the illusion that you're somewhere else, that you're somewhere different, that you're beyond it, or that you're whatever, even that you're jaded on it, that you're over it. It's like, whatever. But when shit hits the fan, that's when we really see kind of like the rawness of where everyone is at. You know, the masks come off and
God,
you know,
sing the doubled chin of upper class fat elites scurry to the, you know, to safety. The pig like, you know, sort of elite white men blubber guys. That all have shitty beards
or their kids
and vape,
or their kids, the trust fund kids, or the, you know, the fake emo kids.
I'm specifically waiting for that like
the trust
early millennial like guy right now. He's like 33, 34, but he's just like he's just on the beginning end of the shit, so he still kind of has like the Gen X fuck it like layer in there. Yeah, it is crazy. Just like interacting with people that you know, it's like Oh, they don't care. Like literally don't
Yeah.
care. Even in self-interest, they don't.
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
have awareness to care.
Oh yeah, and they push back when you do.
Mm-hmm.
You say care. What do you?
I mean like care about. It even sounds so corny, but it's like care about the world and it's
Right.
perpetuating itself.
Yeah.
I think it's just
was-
that's running away. They're just running away.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Not to-
literally
yeah.
like people walking around. I think it's just like you're not paying attention.
I think it's
There's
it's
a lot of
both.
people
It's
who
a
are
little
just
both.
not paying
Both.
attention.
And there's
Yeah.
probably other
Yeah.
mindsets. That
There's
I
some
don't
people
even,
who are just like, you don't know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
like you have no idea.
I was gonna bring up regarding the like I mean, maybe the thread has been lost, but I'll just reestablish it as like this sort of top down one trying to like get outside forces to take action in stupid ways, and then also like focusing so much on individual shit as opposed to systems change. So Hellena Taylor, who is the voice of Bayonetta, I shared this in the group chat, was like
Oh yeah.
it was this whole thing with Nintendo. She's not voicing the character in Bayonetta 3 because after this franchise made $450 million, they offered her on the third installation after negotiations $4,000.
4,000 wasn't even the first offer.
It wasn't the first offer.
Let me tell you something,
And-
folks. You can make $4,000 off of TikTok these days. Like that's fucked up.
Yeah. A week in a writer's room, you make I think 7. If you're like higher up, but she put out a call to action for people to boycott the game. Mad people did it. A bunch of people shared it. It got like however many thousands.
Viral.
It went viral. It got thousands and thousands of retweets and likes and all that stuff. Then I see somebody post that turns out Hellena Taylor is like pro Blue Lives Matter and all these like weird fascist things. I only saw one tweet. That's even suggested or confirmed it. But and yeah, if that's true, fuck Hellena Taylor. If it's
Right.
not, I'm sorry.
But also
But I
just
see the
not
tie-in.
seeing,
I see the
Well,
tie-in.
the
but also
tie-in-
not seeing. Yeah.
Well, the tie-in being that when upon seeing that, multiple people were like, I guess it's time to put that pre-order back in.
Right. Right.
I guess it's time to.
Right.
Right.
I guess
Individual,
it's
right.
collective,
I guess it's-
structural.
Right.
Yeah. And
well,
I'm
she
just like,
then okay, fine.
yeah. I'm just like, are you gonna let?
That is the metric.
That's it. It's like
that is
you-
the crazy, most perfect example you
Yeah.
have given for what we're talking about.
Right. It's
Right.
like, are you going to let the actions of one person who is not, may or may not be confirmed to
Right.
be into some fascist shit, which, not to excuse it,
Obviously.
but most of the world is right now. I
Right.
won't say most, just so to
Most of the-
maintain some hope. But like mad
Authoritarian
people,
for sure.
mad people in the world are
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
at least
most
tacitly at least on this authoritarian shit.
Right.
So you're gonna let yourself be boxed into just like business as usual because somebody in a position that was asking and making a legitimate claim about some shit
Right.
turns out to not be into the other political shit that you're into. Now, not to say we shouldn't interrogate those aspects of her character,
Right, obviously. Yeah.
but like that's fucking Nintendo.
Right.
it's one person versus a structure and a system.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about?
Exactly. Like, what the fuck do you think this is, man?
Right.
It's like, boycott the fucking game. Just because you don't think, and first of all, we can interrogate whether or not you think somebody should live or die based on their politics. But like, are you going to make a decision about whether a person deserves just to put food on the table based on whether they...
Well, it's
We're not in
it's
that.
irrelevant.
Yeah, we're not
It's-
even in
yeah.
that position.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
these people aren't even the people
It's
who
like-
are on Twitter or whatever aren't
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
position. They don't have
But yeah, but no, but her political views are irrelevant, and she's just a person working. It's
Right.
like it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it doesn't-
relevant to itself. It's like, wow, fuck her. But
if you're
Right.
friends with her.
yeah,
If you're
exactly.
in literal community
exactly.
with her.
Right. And
Exactly.
This
I
is
don't
my
give
point.
a fuck.
Right.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
and it's like if your decision did matter, I don't know. It's like the difference between, I don't know if that person is like salvageable in terms of their worldview.
Right.
But like whatever thread was there goes right the fuck out the window when you say, oh no, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck their human needs.
She got
Because
kicked
they
out
don't
of
agree.
Bayonetta 3, but I need the money, so I'm doing it. Alex Jones. We have
I
the same political beliefs, but I'm going to be doing Bayonetta 3.
I invented Bayonetta.
Yeah.
I invented
My chest hair is a demon.
I invented cold sores.
My thinking goes to two other places too, though. Like the potential short-sightedness. Like, okay, boycott. What about the company?
Right.
Yeah.
What about
The
like
company
the
which-
broader? What about the broader system that this company operates in which there's norms and standards that have gotten us to this place?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten to this place where a company that makes that much money off of a game feels comfortable
Mm-hmm.
offering somebody that much money.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a one-off thing. Like we can't keep looking at these fucked up situations as these one-off things that we can kind of just wage a campaign against, and then
Yeah.
we won, we did it. It's
Well,
like
that's
that's
the
how
thing.
that's how they keep you spinning on the wheel.
That's the thing.
You have to
Yeah.
interrogate the structural integrity of the systems and organizations and institutions that created these situations. And that leads me to the other point that I wanted to make, which is I personally feel like there has to be a generative alternative that people are actively trying to shape and form in the midst of that, in order for there to be some long-lasting, sustained
Right.
change.
It's like people have to at some point we got to demystify all of this, like even the fun shit that we do.
Right.
Because like the political shit somehow feels more attainable than just the basic shit of just like people need to be making their own video games. People need to be making their own movies. People need to be making their own music. All of this shit we have SoundCloud, we have YouTube, we have all these things that are top-down structures, but they're at least signaling to you that you can do this shit from your own home.
Right.
You know, it's like at a certain point we got to just think a little bit bigger.
Imagination.
And think, yeah,
And it's not even
And-
people at their home. It's people that have shit right now
yeah,
that could also do it.
yeah. It's like
it's at that point where we're really talking about something social and cultural.
Yeah.
That's the root of what we're talking about.
yeah.
What are we willing and able to do?
This is
Yeah.
why, like,
Able
I
and
don't know.
willing
I mean,
rather.
you could argue the ethics of like voting with your dollar and boycotting and shit, or like I think about it like voting too. It's like an individual thing. I mean, like voting in like American electoral politics. Like I think it's like an individual thing. And at a certain point, you have to weigh that against like how much time is being put towards obsessing over, like you said, these like little wins.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's like we don't really have the time.
We're
Like,
still trapped in
yeah.
the same game. It's
Right.
a win in a fucked up game that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, it's like this is a crazy out of pocket metaphor, but it's like, look, because like regarding the boycott thing, you can either sit there and say like, I'm not gonna buy from Nintendo, but I have nothing else, and I'm just gonna grit my teeth until
Right.
until they start being better, or like look at it this way: if you're in a bad relationship, do you fucking sit there and abstain from sex and for until they start being better, or do
Right.
you go and fucking cheat on them, dog?
Right.
This is insane.
But in your world, yes, that is the answer. Yes, in the world you've built for us,
Right.
absolutely, you cheat on them. Just fuck them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a part of it is that it's the manufacturing consent piece. Like our thinking is trapped in these boxes, and we're just spinning our wheels on the same conversation. It's just like, don't you notice the same problems keep coming back up, and they even seem to be getting worse at a certain
Yeah.
level.
It's a loop. It's a
Right.
matrix.
So it's like
Right.
you have to, it's one of these things where you have to zoom out at a certain point and start interrogating the most basic fundamental things that you've assumed for most of your life. And it's scary. It even feels like you're a nut job and crazy to do it. But that's where the problems are. It's like it's the nuances. It's the tiniest details at that level that have the craziest implications for how we're living, how we live our lives, and what our imagination is. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a big ass centralized company bad. A big ass centralized company that's structured hierarchically, bad. A big ass centralized hierarchical company structured around profit margins, bad.
Okay, wait. But what if I want to have a different big ass hierarchical company that's structured around all these fucked up relations?
Yeah.
What if I can become a co-owner?
Okay, but
actually, I was trying to. That's rad, actually.
Okay, but
what if I could be a stakeholder?
Okay, but what if it's
a stockholder?
Okay,
owner.
but what if it's owned by me and Z? We're both black, right? What if we do it that way?
We could do that.
Yeah, can we do that?
But you're a wage slave. That's
you're a wage slave.
That's my point. It's like the imagination point. It's like, wow, could you believe that there's a way we could have our cake and eat it too?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tall order.
Is it that crazy? Especially, it's the least tall order when it comes to fucking creative shit. Which it makes me think of Yedoye's point. You know, it's like we have the most access, the easiest access. It's a trade. We have the World Wide Web. Like, there's enough people out here that could come together and build whatever, including technology. Digital Zion is you can drop the Digital Zion shit now.
No, they dropped it before.
They already did it.
Shit.
You can drop it again.
We'll see who they choose.
No, they can
Let's see. Vote. Who do you like better?
Okay, but third option, you do it twice. We do it twice.
Donate.
Yeah, do it again, but 2x speed. Go.
Yeah.
Platforms like YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, they're all ass. They don't respect your privacy, they're riddled with ads, and they're completely silent and unreachable when you need help. Have you ever talked to somebody at YouTube? Think about that. I sure haven't. To top it all off, we don't control them at all, despite being the reason they exist. So that's why we're partnering with a design and development agency called Sanctuary Computer to build our own cooperative alternatives that bring the best features of all those platforms together and that we can control together too. We seriously gotta have an exodus to some sort of digital Zion that we build ourselves. Somewhere where all of us can actually have a say over the technology that we're using to communicate with each other. For more on how you can support us all in getting off these shitty platforms, visit opencollective.com/digitalzion and tap in. Just because these dystopian systems are eating themselves alive doesn't mean they gotta take us with them.
And we're back.
I actually like that idea. Super fast.
Yeah, super fast. Okay. Yeah, but what were we talking about at the beginning? Pokemon being gay or something like that, right? I want to just circle back. We went to Israel.
The monetization of the Pokemon IP franchise.
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but we did a video about that on Getting the Robot.
That Pokemon are gay.
The Pokemon are gay. Shout out Dory. Lovely Dory.
So go ahead and what do you mean? Like they really are? Like they're fucking?
Look, man, it's on my video.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up.
Oh no, this was in the Pokedex. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
It's gay.
It just says gay.
This
at the
Pokemon
bottom
only
of
has sex with other
every
Pikachu
entry.
guys.
Every entry at the bottom just says gay.
Gay,
right in
gay.
the bottom corner.
Yeah.
And then it's homophobic. It's like normal. It's normal type. Gay. Special Pokemon. Holographic gay.
This is unreal. I don't think it's
This
related.
this is unrelated to gay Charizard holographic. Hey, this is going to be a bit of a tangent from
when I say
gay Pokemon.
when I say what I'm gonna say. No,
what have we done?
No, but just seeing it's related to what we were just talking about.
Jerry Seinfeld. Or?
No. But just seeing a lot of people going right back into policy around trans rights, issues.
Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Wait.
I thought there was going to be like at least a signal received there, but you were just like,
wait, I got frozen NPC.
I've never heard of Matt Walsh.
Wait, what happened? No, did he
need anything?
He's the what's a woman?
Oh, okay.
What do you call a woman?
Right. Yeah. But
what is a woman?
I was thinking about.
Need anything?
I didn't watch it, but John Oliver did like a.
Oh yeah.
What's his show called?
Last Week Tonight.
Last Week Tonight on.
Shout out John Oliver. Worst intro music I've ever heard, but I love the show is good.
I haven't watched John Oliver since college.
But it's like
He's got to be the weirdest person on television, like looking person on television, and had the longest career with.
So let me preface
Career length to weirdness looking.
Most famous bird on television. His joke.
Absolutely.
not to discount like, because I think there's good journalism in that show, like unironically.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. But it's like, you know, it's just gonna end on the note of like,
Liberal thing.
yes,
Oh,
left
yeah.
liberal. You have to get in and challenge the most vague things too.
Yeah.
Challenge your policymakers, challenge your state representatives, and then we did this cute, quirky thing to troll them.
We called your senators for you.
It's like
Yeah.
that's
And we bought this $30,000 thing.
I'm going to be shot with a paintball gun that's got every congress member's face on each ball.
right.
And this is how they're coming all over us. This is a metaphor.
I fucked a 3D printed copy of Zazu from The Lion King,
Yeah.
an effigy of myself
And I forgot why.
in front of the Capitol building.
If you think about that, specifically what I said though about you know, them doing this detailed journalistic work, all to just
Yeah.
end on that note, it's the most dangerous form of delusion that you could promote,
Yeah.
because it's weighted in the legitimacy of like logic and realism or whatever it might be.
Right.
But then the scope of the imagination is just capped off at these vague sentiments that ultimately make people feel fucking helpless.
Yeah.
You know? And the best that they can get out of watching some shit like that is, oh, he really tore them another one.
Yeah.
Verbally, of course.
It's just patching up. It's just patching up. You know, it's like young people watching, they drink their wine and they're just like, yeah, this is so true.
but
And then,
still America.
and then it's like, oh, but I'm still anxious. Better pop more fucking pros.
But still America.
Yeah.
The whole left liberal
Yeah, it's
trick.
still America.
That's the whole left liberal trick.
Yeah.
They'll critique capitalism. They will
Right.
critique capitalism and then go, but we're all Americans at the end of the
Yeah.
day. That is what they fucking do.
Watching even like Vice documentaries and all this shit, just being like the attack on American democracy
Yeah.
with the fucking January 6th
Yeah, they're
trials.
always
and
like,
all
this
stuff.
country-
Let that go.
They're
Like,
always
let it.
they're always doing documentaries like this country is wild, it's lawless, doesn't have order like America.
Except for the laws and orders that we established in the
Yeah.
1776 Constitution. Never read the Federalist
Corrupt
Papers.
politicians instead of good ones that we need.
Protect America's democracy is the wildest shit.
Yeah.
That's not to say that democracy and authoritarianism like aren't spectrums. They absolutely
Right.
are.
Yeah.
If we're talking in the context of nation states and fucking governments or whatever. But it's like, let's not fucking throw that word around like there's any semblance of like control that we
Oh,
have
yeah.
over our lives.
Right.
You can't use that word democracy if I don't have a fucking say over, you know, where I'm going to live or whatever, unless I play into this kill or be killed mindset that, you know,
Right.
in my mind puts me in a position where I got to fuck over and exploit as many people as possible just to quote unquote free myself.
You can't even
You
go to
know?
lunch when you want to, but we have democracy. You can't go to lunch. It's lunch.
That just
The liberals, they're talking about Trump and they're talking about all of this stuff, and then they're in the same breath saying that we have a democracy.
Yeah. I'll have family
That's
send me
crazy.
shit about
Right.
Trump, and I'm like, dog, I am not following this. I
But
don't
just
give a
like
fuck.
for liberals though, for liberals and left liberals to be like, they're talking about protecting a democracy, but then they're simultaneously acknowledging that there's nothing that represents them in the halls of power or
Yeah,
even
right.
locally or whatever, at the city level, at the policy level. Don't you see that the fucking writing is on the wall? Don't you see that we got to open up space? Like, we got to open up separate space to where we can actually cooperate with one another and live democratic lives, that we can't get that within.
Can we like just break down what democracy actually is? Maybe some people genuinely just don't know,
Demos,
you know?
which is the people, right?
The people.
The people.
Doing
Crassy
the bookchin
rule.
etymology.
Crassy rule.
Yeah, and the family comes from the Latin roots of famulus, which is translates to servants.
That's what I'm gonna
household.
say when I see y'all next time. What's up, Famulus?
What up, famulus?
What up, Famulus?
Well, don't say that after I say it means servants.
Oh,
but
Does it really? That's
it does.
fucked up.
That's where it comes from. Is the the Latin for service. And so when like slave masters say like our slaves are just like family, it's the shit I was
not
telling you.
kidding.
Tautology Club is like they're just saying our slaves are slaves. That's what
Right.
that's what that is.
Right.
It's
When
like
you're
it's
here,
not
your
even
family, Olive Garden. What the fuck are they doing, dude? Are they putting
It's-
MK Ultra drugs into my fucking pasta to get me to obey them when I leave?
me, your overlord.
When you're here, you're a famulus. Understand? Don't get up from the table.
Dog.
I don't know
You
what
have
that is.
one more breadstick to eat. Don't let it sit there. Don't let it go to a
Oh,
waste.
you'll have unlimited breadstick for the rest of your life. Don't worry, I'll make sure of that.
You have all of the breadstick you want down there.
Wait, the spaghetti. Wait, on the democracy, democracy tip, like I feel like there's 1,000,001 entry points to that conversation, but I just like to, oh my god,
Go ahead. Take it off.
wow,
Yeah, snap a pig of that.
Man,
Sorry, I didn't mean to break a
this feels like
concentration. Go ahead.
dangerous territory.
yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna riff on that. That serves itself, I think.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say I like to just start because I feel like it's accessible with the distinction between representative democracy and direct democracy.
Yes.
You know, and what I've always said is like representative democracy isn't democracy at all, at least in the sense that we have it in this country and in most quote unquote Western countries, where you have to you're supposedly electing someone to make decisions on your behalf, and it's like a small amount of people making decisions for extremely large numbers of people, like this one size fits all sweeping, you know, and it goes into 1,000,001 different conversations. But that contrasted next to a situation where people at least can actually decide what's impacting their own lives. They make decisions on what's impacting their own lives. And there's like an in-between that people call liquid democracy, where, you know, you can have instantly recallable delegates, people to decide things. But if there's an issue, you can, you know, no questions asked, you know, recall them. But another like implication in this distinction is like related to capital and capitalism and the state. It's like people always say, you know, like it's all about money, you know, the government and blah blah blah. It's all about money, and they're fucking right. That's if you have this pyramid structure, and there's these people, you know, with at some place, various places within the hierarchy of the pyramid structure, and they're all, you know, it's all going in one direction, and it's towards the dollar. That's going to shape and warp, you know, what happens in terms of your well-being and your livelihood. Direct democracy implies that there's a social end goal in mind. You know, there's something about our lives as humans and the quality of life that we're living that's guiding us in terms of our decision making and how we're choosing to live with each other.
Right.
And that's why I always circle back to like the opening of space, you know, in terms of land and being able to operate within these spaces and for social and human ends, and ends that are both individual and collective. It's like all of us, but it's you too, you know?
Right.
But that's so far away from what we're talking about when we're talking about the U.S. government and electoral politics, politicians, the president, Congress, the Senate. It's entirely removed. That is just a fucking, it's like Takeshi's Castle of capital. It's just like this fucking, you're just, everyone, including the politicians, are just playing this weasel-like game of who can get closer in proximity to power and money.
Right.
And we're all just fucking looking up, watching the circus, thinking that this is where it's at. This is what's going to decide things for us, when we could just decide things for ourselves the whole goddamn time.
Right. It's all just how do you placate a population, and how do you pacify all these people that would be doing all this shit for themselves. And, you know, a bunch of little mechanisms. Like I keep talking about how like debt jubilees used to be like every 7 years or whatever the fuck. They would just forgive the fucking debts because every major revolution was to clear debts.
Right.
You know? And then and now and then they co-opt that. Kings, emperors, whatever, start clearing the debts every 7 years because that's around when economies would crash. And now we've got a system where, how convenient that presidents get pushed out of office after a maximum of 8 years.
Right.
And now you can always look to the next person to do the thing that you wanted this guy to do, but he's not going to do it. So it's just like a system of like, it's just a system of constant deferring and like, and this whole system of checks and balances is literally just deferring responsibility to the next person to say, whether it's Congress, the Senate, whatever the fuck. You can always say like, oh, well, my hands are my hands are tied. I can't do the thing.
How convenient.
I got all this ice cream. Yeah.
I got hairy legs.
I got hairy legs. It's like you can always
Pikachu's gay. Everyone knew that.
It's like
Pika Pika.
Pika Pika.
Take a peek at this, Jack.
Pikachu.
I always thought that Dratini was a girl dragon and she evolves into Dragonite, which is a boy dragon. What's going on?
I used to do Pikachu. That's where you pika and then you chew. Get a pika and then you chew on it.
I'd like to get a Pikachu. But
am I a fucking Pokemon? Maybe I'd like to get a Pikachu.
And Blastoise.
My diamonds, they say Pikachu. Little wink at you. That's a Young Thug song for those who don't know.
I always knew I wasn't going to be gay. That's what
Guys, Young Thug said that. People out there listening, Young Thug said that. Were you gonna make another point?
Yeah, I was just gonna reiterate the same thing. Just like,
okay,
yeah. I mean, it's like you can always. It's like there's supposed to be this clear hierarchy, but yet you can never point to who's in charge. You know, you can never point to who the power is really coming from, and that's all the checks and balances shit is like it's deferring your attention rather than their actual
I was gonna
ability.
say on the checks and balances thing, it's related. It's related to the distinction between government and governance as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a lot of people, when they hear you start critiquing the state and the nation state model, they're like, well, shit needs to get done. You know, like there's things in terms of, you know, public safety, in terms of waste management, education, all these things that the government takes care of. And I think that's a good thing. And it's like, you realize we could take care of all of these different things and actually do it in a democratic way, not a bureaucratic way where we all secretly know, like people say, that it's all about money and the money shit is warping all of the stuff that's supposed to be quote unquote public and about us, where we can actually do it, see what's going on transparently, have a direct say in what's going on, you know, within our respective communities. And I think that's another just like really important like distinction to bring up. You know, regarding the power of money in this whole dynamic, it's really, I want to use the word embarrassing, but it's just silly, where like I feel like initially this whole dynamic is, you know there's a person who has money and therefore they have power and therefore they have all this influence over your life and they can make all these decisions behind the scenes about what goes on in your daily life. And now we've gotten to a point where if you criticize, say you criticize Kanye, there's a whole contingency of people who come to his defense, not even saying like, oh, you can't say that. It's like, you don't know who's like on some like spooky, you know, like Black Ops shit. It's literally just like, he's a billionaire. You can't talk shit. Right.
Yeah,
Literally, you can't.
Writing for money on behalf of money.
It's
on
like the
behalf
hustle
of money.
grind culture minions of the world.
Literally just cutting out all the violence of it. Like if I'm gonna fucking
Grinders assemble.
Well,
also, real quick,
We have a grinder to protect. We have a hustler to protect.
getting beyond cancel culture only by getting money.
Sorry, what are you saying?
He's on Grindr.
We have to protect the sanctity of the app.
Well, like getting the whole oh, I need to escape cancel culture, so I got to get rich.
Yeah,
like that, tying that into that,
right?
When it's like,
and it's
the whole reason that should exist is because you have a financial.
Right.
You don't have a financial safety net of any kind.
And your odds are fucked, homie. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just funny to me that like it's almost like devaluing actual capital into just social capital. You know what I'm saying? It's like he literally has billions of dollars. You can do all this.
Right.
Like if I'm gonna shut my mouth about Kanye West, or telling people it's like calling me Cassius Clay if you call me my own name. But like,
really?
Yeah, he said that. He said that in the interview. I don't give a fuck. But like, if I'm gonna actually,
he's not gonna respect someone's pronouns, probably. So
yeah, right.
Y'all are saying this like he's gonna be watching and just close his laptop when you say, "I'm not calling you by that name."
No, but I mean, like if it's like disrespectful, like it's like he literally prefers to go by that name,
right?
But
I don't give a fuck. But like. But like my point,
conversation is just funny.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But I'm like, if I'm gonna respect him or like subject myself to whatever fear surrounds just like talking about a billionaire publicly, fucking kill me, dog.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and say
like it's King Louis.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, he has $1 billion. Right. I can't. He has so much. So many people like him.
Yeah,
like fuck you.
$1 billion.
Like, just murder me, dog.
Yeah.
Come to my house. You could probably Google you could probably Google my address, and it's
me.
It's really ironic. I think he also said this in the interview.
He did. He said this in the Drink Champs.
But like, point being, just like. Fucking don't expect me to just respect your fucking capital. Right. I don't. I respect the power behind it in the sense that it'll murder me. So
if the money is what dominates you, then you're respecting what dominates you.
Exactly.
And it's also built off of just a series of mythologies and inconsistencies. Like when we're talking about a fiat currency, it's like we have a society that carries the mythology that like the money, if you have the money, you somehow deserve it, or you somehow earned it, or it's somehow just all is right and just in the universe. That's why you have that money.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
That's really common, I think, in middle class.
Absolutely no sense.
Like it's like, well,
it's every class.
I thought you were gonna say
every class.
I thought you were gonna say middle school.
But like, oh, they deserve it.
Well, yeah, of course.
In upper class, it's like they got fucking lucky. But in like middle class rich, they'll be like, yeah, no, it's like we got a nice little nest egg and we really saved up our bucks.
Right.
So it's the same. It's
obviously
the same. Like
if you have enough, but it's like, why do you have what you have?
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you're barely not homeless. Like,
it's literally
you're a couple catastrophes away from homeless. Bro.
It's literally what Tupac said. It's like he said, just because you don't have doesn't mean you're bad.
Right.
So he's like, what's the implication?
Right.
Just going from there, what is the implication about this society and system that we're living under?
Right.
If you're in that state and it's because you didn't do anything bad, what does that say about the kind of world and society that we're living in?
Oh, it's like built upon the idea that poor people deserve it. 100%.
Yeah.
It just makes it's not logical.
Because if the idea is poor people or just homeless people don't deserve that, but you allow them to when you have the money to, then that's a horrifying moral implication. Then,
yeah,
yeah,
and I
it's
think
just
so
dumb.
they would. So the idea would have to be that they.
It's also dumb. The idea is to be like, man, it's a dirty game.
Yeah,
it's just the way the game is. And then the second you go, oh, so should we just stop playing the game? They go, oh no, we're not doing that.
Right.
No, the default should be we should gamify life. What are you talking about?
Absolutely.
But it is fucked up. But it is fucked up. It's like, yo,
you got to compete, and it's funny that people
contradictions are so crazy.
And it's wild that people think about it that way, and it's like a common argument they have is like, well, you think capitalism like invented poverty? And it's like
that is crazy. That's so dumb. I haven't even heard that one out in the wild.
Have you never heard that one?
Not in the wild. No,
Really? I've heard that.
That's literally like
Capitalism invented capitalist
that's like
poverty.
That's like
Yeah,
a turd.
You know?
right.
That's
I'm
like a
just
turd
yeah.
of a statement. It's
Yeah.
like almost a non-statement.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are you even talking about?
Artificial
It's like-
scarcity, like sure,
Yes.
yeah, it goes beyond capitalism. Sure, does that
Yeah.
change the fucking point?
Right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't change the point.
Yeah, and it's like,
It's so dumb.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's
So what you think, dude? People have been living shitty lives for thousands of years. Like, I don't even see why we gotta like try and do
It's
something.
nature, bro.
Yeah, it's just nature.
right. It's
Wolves
Right. Yeah.
ask for money in the wild all the time, bro.
You ever seen a timber wolf? They're that big because they
Yeah.
ask for that
Yeah.
money.
Dude,
Yeah.
some wolves have jobs, all right, and they go hunt and they have like gigs. They like have wolf jobs, and then some wolves they just lay around, don't do shit, ask for money, looking for a handout.
I love
Nature's hierarchical. bro.
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what
I
to
love the
tell you.
Looking for
nature
a
thread. That
paw
one
out.
is
Yeah, they're looking for a paw, dude. A hoof out. Shit.
the nature. I love the
Hoof.
nature thread because
yeah.
we have yet to see. I want to have David Wengrow. Maybe I'm going to save this or send this to David Wengrow. I want to get David and I want to get a like biologist on here at the same time.
Damn.
So they can just talk about all the things in nature that are cooperative.
Yeah.
It's like, so actually the gibbon,
Yeah.
gibbon genus of
Yeah.
primate is
The Gibbon jerk-off circle is a completely
But then-
egalitarian
but
phenomenon.
the fact that you can go down to the fucking
Yeah.
microscopic level, you can go down to the cellular level
Yeah.
to make the point against that nonsense.
the
It's like,
neophytes, bro.
The neophytes, dog. All about the neophytes.
but it
The,
persists.
the
suck each other
mitochondria
off.
might be the powerhouse of the cell, but you think the cell would operate
Yeah, without
With
the cell
just-
wall and
without
plants?
the
Who
walls
have a
and the
cell wall?
fucking plankton or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, the plankton in the cell.
Somebody's gonna watch this and
cell's
just never
plankton.
Google
Yeah.
neophytes and plankton.
I wonder how far back the roots of that line of argumentation go. I feel like they're definitely rooted in patriarchy. Like some, I know. It's
It's a
Just to
mutation of natural theology of like, oh, the sun and people die and that's the circle of life, and then things we settle a bit more, and then religion
mean-
comes up, and some people are evil. That's why evil
the
exists.
nature argument. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm speaking very specifically about the. It's hierarchy is in nature. We're hierarchical creatures. We're born to dominate.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it came
yeah.
out of religion. I think they
I'm saying
took that through
specific. I'm
religion.
saying specifically though. Like I feel like there's maybe a historian or like a
more recently.
literature scholar. No. I'm sure it's centuries back.
Yeah,
but
sure.
like someone could pinpoint it to like these narratives emerging, at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
religion is the broad strokes thing you can immediately pin it right down.
I also
to.
feel like that's an idea that came right after religion, right after things got secular, was to explain shit. Like, because religion just fills in all those questions.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like whether it's hierarchical or not, it's really more just like, are you a good person or not? There's not even like a hierarchy. And then, well, I guess there is. It's
There
God
is,
and then
yeah.
all of us, and then
Yeah.
the priest, and then all of us.
It's the
But
root
like being
is in,
like nature, it's probably fucking Darwin type shit.
I mean, the
it's-
equating humans with nature is probably Darwin. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you also have that evolutionary aspect where it's like
Right.
you can.
you're
you
saying
then-
non-human nature.
well, I'm
humans-
saying we're equating
human nature with non-human nature.
Yes. Yeah.
I was
and
gonna say
then-
because humans we are nature,
Well, yeah.
just
yeah.
different
Right.
kind. Yeah.
Right. And then yes. But yeah,
I'm thinking about
the-
people who they hear. I even think
No,
about
I'm
this
thinking
when we talk
about
about
nature,
identity. They
value,
just get
granola
confused.
bars.
They
Yeah.
get confused. Like even when we talk about identity, like saying black and we're using it interchangeably, like
Yeah.
racially and then like culturally.
Yeah.
I always
right.
think about. I'm like, yeah, someone's confused as fuck.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Someone's confused.
But-
Someone needs subtitles. Or something.
But yes,
Footnotes, like little blurbs that come up as we're talking.
We're- we're
Actually,
using it
I've
like
thought about. We
this.
should have
Yeah.
Wes make some things
Yeah.
like that, little addendums. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's. I mean, it probably goes back
say?
to Darwin, just equating humans and non-human nature with just that evolutionary track that then gets applied to all of humanity, which is also probably where the fucking the notion that shit was bad before capitalism and now it's good. It's just this fucking stages process where like humanity just gradually gets better just the way that animals gradually adapt to their environment. And like
there are a lot of revolutionary, especially European revolutionaries, that subscribe to this idea. They just think it just gets inherently better and better and more quote unquote developed.
Yeah, which is literally just a counter argument to, I said this in the last episode, a counter argument to the indigenous critique of European capitalism, which then invalidates that the politics, that the conscious political decisions that they were making at that time in the interest of forwarding this fucking liberal shit that that wears liberty, fraternity, equality on its face, but doesn't actually embody those values, you know.
I also think it's funny people associate the stagism thing with Marx as well.
Yes.
Even though in his writings, particularly at the end of his life, he wrote explicitly against it. He said there's no quote unquote march generale of history where it just goes in this linear fashion. That's not how it works. But there's so many people that still subscribe to these ideas, but being like, well, because Marx believed it.
You should subscribe to Jaded Forum. At the end of the day, at the end of this episode.
Hey, at the end of the day, one guy believes you should subscribe to Jaded Forum, so you should believe that for the next 200 years.
Yes, exactly.
Just like that.
And I know we're closing, but I did want to reiterate, like, on the like, we're hierarchical, and we are hierarchical as amongst other things, by the way. But saying like, oh, you know, this threat of domination is all that matters. Like, I do think the roots are ancient, like in even patriarchy before organized religion. But I'm curious if there's like a written record where they, because that's what we do. It's like we find someone as far back in history as we can to be like, this fuck nigga said the fucked up shit first. You know, like I'm curious who that person is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it would be interesting to see. It's probably some ancient,
who said
like,
the worst
Arabic
take first.
Right.
Who had the first bad take?
Yeah, right. Just the first to write it down. They weren't even the first to have it. They just like, man, I love that shit so much. I'm gonna write that shit down, man, so, for the future, so they can know.
Yeah, the ancient Egyptians had Twitter. Can you imagine hieroglyphs instead of?
Can you imagine the shit King Ramsey would have been tweeting, man?
Tutankhamun.
I'm gonna draw a picture that says "Women belong in the kitchen."
Oh man,
Right?
Yeah, we got to get more historians on here.
Yeah.
Just blow our minds.
Next time, folks.
Yeah.
Next time.
Mm-hmm.
But please, you know,
opencollective.com/Jaded Forum. Please support.
Gapes are us.
You-
What?
RateYourGape.com.
RadarGapes.com? What? That can't be what it is. I think it's Jaded Forum. But type in opencollective.com/RadarGapes and see what comes up.
Y'all are like, we have to balance it out. I mean, we have to say the most disgusting, putrid thing if we're gonna talk about real shit too.
Yeah.
We have to alienate the people that are attracted to the other things. We're saying that's the yin and the yang of Jaded Forum.
That's the test.
Can you stand it? Can you take the fucking cum? I was gonna say take.
Whoa!
I was gonna say. I was gonna say take the
Nobody
heat.
said take two.
I was gonna say.
Take the cum?
I was gonna
Come
say
on,
take
bro.
the heat.
We're trying to wrap up the podcast in a serious way, dog.
Y'all be talking about someone's goddamn cum, man. You know what I'm talking about. Subscribe to Jaded Forum on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
You look like you're about to react to something.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah.
And we're out, everybody. Subscribe to Jaded Forum.
Yeah.
And click that bell. Remember to click the bell.
Yes,
Get
right.
the notifications.
Click the bell
Notifications,
as
right.
well.
Yes. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a...